Hi everyone. A couple of months ago I was talking about how I have a subscription to an overseas art subscription box and how I love the box. It's great value. I love it. I always have a good time with it. And I was sort of mentioning overconsumption and the fact that it has to travel a long way to get to me. And I mentioned how I had found an Australian paint company who also does subscriptions, and it's box of paints every 2 months. It's local to me, so there's much impact on it arriving to my place. A yearly subscription is about a fifth of the price for me, which being a disabled girly is important. I don't have disposable income. I'm trying to transition into a way that's more sustainable. So I did get my tax return from last year, which I finally did. And I got myself the yearly subscription to the local company's memberships. And paint is always something that I'm going to use, so there's not going to be any wasted art supplies from this particular subscription. Let's open it and see what we got. So here is my package. So let's open it up. And see what we got. All right, so we've got a little box here, Derivan Matisse. Oh, we've got a little mini easel. Cute. We are a family business and we don't always have the chance to promote ourselves, relying on word of mouth. Family owned and operated Australian company. Here is a link that discusses several options on how you can tell others about us. So this was sort of the whole reason for signing up to this, is because I am very conscious of where, oh my goodness, Evie, where my money goes, and trying to shop locally. Paint is always something that I'm going to use. Every box, which is sent out every 2 months, we get 2 paints and some kind of medium. Oh my goodness, Evie. She's so chaotic. This just felt like synchronicity because I had been down at my favourite local art supply store recently, and one of the staff members there gave me some sample sizes of a couple of surfaces, the clay board here and a pastel board by the same brand. And it's the perfect little size to put on this mini easel. So I'm going to paint on that today. These tubes came with a foil seal over the top, so I just grabbed some tweezers just to break the seal open, and the paint did ooze out a little bit, but it's all good. And I'm almost finished with my sketchbook, so I've just got this sort of quarter page that was blank, this kind of like random page, so I'm just going to use that to swatch out these colors and see what we're working with. Now, in every mail out, you're going to get 2 tubes of paint. One is a color that's existing in the range already, and the other one is going to be a limited edition color, maybe one that's never actually been sold before. So that's really cool. We get to play with some new things. And you also get a medium as well to help enhance your paint in some way. So I knew I wanted to just use these 2 paints to do the complete piece. So I mixed them in with different amounts and watered it down with water just to see what kind of variations I can get with just using these 2 colors. This is such a random page in my sketchbook. It's just got some little sketches there. This is my favorite combination of emojis. It cracks me up every time I see it. The medium we have is an impasto, which is really great for creating texture. So I did kind of a thick layer in the sketchbook just to see how that dried, and then I got to sketching my sketch. Echo came up onto the desk and had a little drink, and then I started squeezing out my paints and medium into a palette to start painting. With the size of this surface and the shape of it, also thinking about the colors that I had and the kind of values I'd be able to get, I decided to sketch an eyeball to paint. I really love drawing eyes, and I haven't done an eye study in ages, so it really felt nice to and correct to do an eye study on this little piece of clayboard. Clayboard has a really hard, smooth surface, and it's fantastic to use with watercolor, gouache, acrylics. I've used it to paint a couple of times and really enjoy the end result. You have to build up your layers a little bit. Like, I find that the first layer can look a little bit patchy, but the result that you get in the end when you start layering up your paint layers is just so stunning. So let's talk about these paints. We have two acrylic paints. These are both professional grade acrylics. They're, I'd say, like a heavy body acrylic, and they are light fast as well. Our lab color is the purple. It is a very deep purple made with PV23 pigment, which is known for its light fastness, as well as the intense deep violet tone. It has no problem mixing with other colors. However, its strength is very intense. And then we have the Australian Sky Blue, which is a really beautiful, soft blue mixture of ultramarine and titanium white pigments. So when I was thinking about the impasto and how much texture it adds, that's sort of another reason why I chose to do the eye, because I thought I could do some sort of chunky lashes using just the straight purple pigment mixed in with the impasto. Mixing it in with the medium doesn't alter the shade, it just gives you more body and more texture. And you can paint directly over the top of it after it's dried, but you can also, as I did here, just mix the paint into it and paint directly onto your surface with it. So yeah, I decided to paint the eye flat and then put the texture into the lashes. And then we had a little visitor, little Evie, just needed to have a cuddle. So we took a break, went on TikTok live, and Crash Out Kermit was live. If you do not know Crash Out Kermit on TikTok, it is so amazing. I can't play the audio because of copyright, but he has the best playlists, and he just dances and gets sad over a photo of him and Miss Piggy. It's just incredible. I love TikTok. So yeah, this was my little eye study, which I had to finish with Evie in my arms because she just needed to snuggle, and who am I to deny her cuddles? But I really love the way this turned out. It was so perfectly timed to have this little piece of clayboard that fit so perfectly onto your easel. Like, this looks like it was meant to be, and these paints are absolutely stunning. Now, I did only want to use the two paints in the box, but I did go in just with a tiniest little white highlights right at the end. But what I think going forward is, like, with the next box I get, with those two paints, I'll do the same thing. I'll do one painting just with those two colors, but then I'll also do a second painting adding those two colors to these two colors and keep building up the palette until we have sort of more variety, and see what I can create each time with just the two paints and then with the next lot added as well. I think that'll be a cool little experiment. But yeah, I'm really stoked that I decided to get this. The paints are amazing quality and I get to support a local business. Win-win. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like this video if you liked this video, and consider subscribing to the channel for more art stuff. Like I said, I think what I'm going to do is, when the next lot arrives in 2 months, I will make an artwork with just those paints, but also add them to these two. So every time I get a box, we'll keep adding to the color palette. At the end of the year, I'll make an artwork with everything that I've got so far. that might be really, really fun. We'll make a bigger painting with everything. So that might be cool. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.